summertime in Beijing, the capital city of China, and educators committed to the teaching of living values education have gathered together for 2 intensive training sessions at the Beijing Institute of Education and the China National Children's Center. Beijing is a modern, vibrant city, but the people of China can look back to their ancient book of history with its description of the universe based on rules of morality and justice which constitute the rational ordering of heaven and earth, people and all things. Some 3,000 years ago, the book of Odes said, "When the heavens created people, this world came to exist too, and there was a rational order that prevailed. This order was a system of values."
Act the way you want to be. Act the way you want to be. And soon you'll be the way you act. And soon you'll be the way you act. If you want to be enthusiastic, then act enthusiastic.
Local teachers and teacher trainers in Beijing are very enthusiastic about the Living Values Education program. They identify closely with its 12 values: cooperation, freedom, happiness, honesty, humility, love, peace, respect, responsibility, simplicity, tolerance, and unity.
We need to be honest. We need to be fair in our dealings with others. We need to be just. Because without these values, there would not be peace. There would not be harmony on earth.
And Beijing teachers are very keen to explore the activity-based approach to teaching and learning that they find in the Living Values materials.
Most of the learning will be done by us.
The local teachers and teacher trainers in Beijing are joined by Andrew So,
Is universal.
Chris Drake, and Derek Sankey from Hong Kong, and Peter Williams from England.
This is my 4th visit now to Beijing.
这是他第4次来北京，
And I love Beijing.
非常热爱。
This is a time of sharing and learning from each other, aimed at empowering teachers to teach living values in their schools.
在校长和这些个老师们的共同组织下，反映到学生身上当中。同时呢，在学科当中呢，我们就要渗透这个价值观的教育。
The sharing takes place through warm-up activities, workshops, presentations on key themes, and group reflections, a combination of theory and practice in teacher education that involves the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. This is the model. It's about individual engagement in whole group activities, based on the understanding that east or west, north or south, there are fundamental human values that we share as a part of our common humanity.
每个人在不同的环境当中，在不同的经济基础的这样的条件下，来自于不同的家庭、不同的地域，它本身已经习得了一些生活价值。
Highlighting the ways in which we are the same, while also encouraging each one to make their own values choices. The training points out that it is when we experience and live our values that we can truly teach them.
要在活动实践中去体验，而不是单纯的去说教，用自身的魅力去感染我们身边的每一个学生，真正使每个人达到心理上的沟通，体现我们自身的价值。谢谢大家。
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow.
In this setting, the challenges of crossing different language boundaries become opportunities for communal sharing, for greater understanding, and the building of a common culture of values. We have expert translators, of course, and they make an invaluable contribution to the various sessions,
1, 2, 3.
not only as translators, but also as active participants. But communication can also occur through working quietly together in workshop activities, in the exchange of smiles and laughter, and in the silence of contemplation. The importance of personal interaction, sharing from the heart and creating a positive and joyful learning atmosphere, is not simply the message of the training sessions. Above all, it is the ethos in which they are conducted. Blending theory and practice, the training model has 4 main components, each of which can be transferred back into the school context.
最主要还是实践，把我们今天学到的东西都运用到课堂教学中去，不断的总结经验，然后再实践。
我想这是一件对于己于人都非常有利的事儿。那么我愿意把这个活动推广下去。谢谢。
如果感到幸福，你就拍拍手。如果感到幸福，你就拍拍手。如果感到幸福，你就拍拍手。让大家一起拍拍手。
The first component is concerned with creating a values-based learning environment, an atmosphere of enthusiasm, cooperation and discovery, of joyful learning, harmony, unity, and a sense of inner contentment, peace.
在这儿和同学们、老师们、教授们共同学习，我感到这里的学习气氛非常的友好。在这样的课堂气氛里学习，我感到既轻松又愉快，而且能够充分的表达自己所内心感受到的东西。
需要做一个计划，需要把这个，然后把这个计划运用到咱们的行动当中去。
It is based on the notion that values education is about the how of teaching, as much as the what that is being taught.
另外呢，我们让学生通过学科学到的东西呢，在活动中展示自己。我们特别在这2天有所收获，就是一边活动一边教育。我们打算呢把这种形式呢也带回去，让学生动起来。同时呢，动的过程呢，它也是一个自我教育、自己成长、自己完善的这么一个过程。 所以呢，我们还是发挥我们原来的那个特长，活动展示自我，活动教育自我。
Songs and other warm-up activities bring to the fore the human dimension of teaching, empowering students to communicate with each other through collective participation, as they bring to their awareness and express the values they hold and share.
就是说，专家讲的是一部分，咱们的老师呢也给我讲了很多东西，就同事之间学到了很多。
强调上课的时候以学生为主体，我想今后我会像他们4个教授之间互相这样配合一样，我和学生配合默契。这样的话，我就要去生活价值观这个角度去考虑合作、责任、团结，还有其他的，我一定要照着这样的目标去做。
One key message of these sessions is that we should not try to teach values without first creating a values-based learning environment.
作为我们老师，能否放下架子，能否用你的表情、你的动作、你的言行、你的一切来影响你自己的孩子？看到的体会不深，听到的容易忘记，只有体验到的才能刻骨铭心。
要想教给别人一个道理，不如先让他体会、感受、实践。 从中让他悟出这个道理，通过讨论让他自己，把这个道理总结出来、提炼出来。
Another key message is that values education is not simply a matter of instilling values into children. Often, for both adults and children, it is a matter of drawing out values that are already there, perhaps hidden, but nevertheless an innate part of our personal, cultural and social inheritance.
我最大的一个感悟就是，不管是对于我们自身，还是对于我们在教学当中对待学生，我们应该有这样一种体验，就是只有他自己感悟到的，才能成为他自己的。
我们可以用我们不是光用我们嘴去教育我们学生，我们可以用我们的行动，用我们的表演，用多种方法去把我们的课堂搞活。
Okay, now everybody, try and make some shapes of leaves.
The second key component of the training model is the workshop activities.
You're going to put some writing.
For teachers participating in the training, workshops provide an immersion into the activities their pupils will use when they're back in their classrooms. Making a peace cake.
就是说，这个世界的和平呢，应该以爱作为基础。每个人都能够把爱心奉献出来的时候，世界才能够美好的。
Telling the story of the tree bowed down by concerns.
前2天老师讲过了，要尊重小树。小树，你难受吗？
Or enacting the story of the emperor looking for a worthy successor.
为什么？
By doing the activity themselves, in small groups, teachers acquire a feel for what the activity involves and how best to organize it in their classrooms with their pupils. Teachers can discover whether there are any potential difficulties they need to avoid, while also appreciating the learning opportunities the activity affords. And the teachers can have fun, as children have fun when learning by doing.
咱们这个学习的这些人，然后下传的宣传，第一条有宣传，
对，就一个人，然后进行宣传，然后争取支持，争取理解，然后再合作，怎么做？是这意思吗？合作实践。
The workshops are not just fun, and they are not just an opportunity for participants to learn an activity and pre-rehearse it. Above all, workshops provide a context in which teachers and children alike are able to focus and reflect on their own values.
然后呢，是我的家，就希望像一条小船，在风平浪静的小河里，就代表平安。
Just to speak for about a minute or so, saying what it felt like, how easy it was to trust, or was it difficult to trust the other person?
Reporting back on the activity by each small group is a very important part of the workshop. It is a time for sharing insights and also for surprises, as individuals describe where their activity took them in their thinking, feeling and doing.
我从各位老师身上学到了很多，因为我们经常一些小组的交流啊，还有一些汇报，我觉得这些都是非常非常好的学习机会。
我知道了怎样才能很好的合作，那就是首先要尊重他人，在尊重的基础上，才能够互相的理解和信任、负责任，这样呢才能把事情做好。
每个人的身上我都学到了很多东西，可能也是一种合作的结果，这是真诚的。
Do you recognize these values? Love, freedom, honesty, respect, cooperation, tolerance, humility? Have you seen them before?
The third component of the training model is seminar talks on key themes. These presentations provide an academic input to the training, an opportunity to consider the social, philosophical and scientific contexts of values education, an opportunity for those with specific expertise to share their ideas and the results of their research with the participants on the training program.
或者最基本的生活的价值东西太少， 是吧？但是那种政治层面的东西，比如我们要强调我们这个孩子要热爱社会主义，是吧？要热爱中国共产党，是吧？这个坚持4项基本原则，这些东西来讲，都是一些政治上的东西。这个政治层面的东西，如果说就是我感到最大的就是，如果我们仅仅以这种政治层面的东西来教育孩子的话呢，那么来讲，他就是最基本的做人的道理就没有学到。
In Beijing, we considered what values are predominant in Chinese society today and how they may have changed over the years. We also considered the nature of human rationality, given recent findings on the nature of mind and brain.
We've been told that thinking rationally means thinking logically, and that means emptying our minds of all emotion and feeling. But the detailed studies of people with brain damage to the prefrontal lobes that we have been considering is questioning this belief. These patients share a similar disability. Their ability to think logically about a problem remains intact, but they're emotionally flat, unable to sense the emotional impact of their words and actions on others. They may even seem logical in what they say, but their actions are very irrational. And this is important for us as values educators.
We thought about the values inherent in academic scholarship and how these provide a context for discussing values in the teaching of the school subjects.
This group here.
And we considered the development of our own multiple intelligences, that collection of aptitudes that combine to help make us who and what we are, and influence the ways in which we best express our own values. Of course, younger students in schools are not expected to study these difficult adult themes. But there is a knowledge input that needs to be made to values education at all levels, just as there is in any subject on the school curriculum. Values education needs to be informed if it is to relate to and have a place in the real world in which we all find ourselves. It is important for us to keep building our dreams of a peaceful world and visualize how we would like the world to be. But in striving for a better world, we then need to set our dreams against the touchstone of today's reality. Values then provide guidance and a direction to help deal with the choices and issues we face.
As we reach the end of another full day on our journey together, let us look back at what we have done, what we have experienced and felt. Taking time out to stop doing, let us reflect on the lessons we've learned, the understanding gained, and the newness we can bring to tomorrow as we keep discovering how to be and how to live together, adding fresh purpose and meaning to our life and our work.
The fourth component of the model is guided reflection. This is not something that is done in most schools, nor in most teacher training programs, and yet it was a very powerful element in the Beijing experience. For teachers, the ability to stop and stand back from the hurly-burly of school life in quiet contemplation eases the mind and recharges the spirit. It helps us to remember who we are and why we are teachers. It rekindles the dream of what education can be and gives added meaning to our existence. It helps provide a personal foundation, a state of mind on which to build our practices as values educators. But do children not also need this reflective foundation? Is there no space in the crowded curriculum and the constant demands of lessons for pupils and young adults to step back and quietly reflect on their day-to-day life, their joys and frustrations, about what matters most to them and why? Like most things in life, it needs to be done at the right time and in the right setting. But when it is done, it helps learners of all ages to internalize lessons learned and make the values truly their own.
我想说的很多，尤其是我看到这4位教授互相配合，天衣无缝，配合得非常默契。
In Beijing, our times of quiet reflection were often after a series of busy sessions. A benediction at the end of the day that also built a bridge to lead us from the values-based environment we had created back into the demands of daily living, with renewed enthusiasm and determination.
这3天来呢，我们是度过了一个非常美好的时光。因为这3天呢，对于我们在座的每个人来说，应该说呢，是一次很好的学习机会，也是一个头脑风暴的这样一个更新观念的一个特别好的机会。因为在这3天里呢，我们学到了很多当前世界上最重要的教育观点和教育理论，是吧？比如说要学会尊重。 要学会宽容啊，而且呢，要让孩子做主人。
And perhaps that could be said for the training program as a whole. Certainly, that is what many of the participants in Beijing said. As our days together drew to a close, we sang our songs, we exchanged our thoughts and feelings, and expressed our appreciation to those who had made the experience possible. We said our goodbyes, and we promised to keep in contact, to support each other in trying to meet the challenge of teaching values to each new generation of children, no matter where they live or who they are. Aware that in the end we share a common human ancestry, and we all belong to one world. Then let us make it a better place for all to live. And that is the message of living values education. And it's what created the Beijing experience.